What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Broken Tables podcast for February 25th, 2022. This is the After Rampage show. I am your host, Jeffrey Vegas. I'm here with my best co-host in the world, Rome. How you doing tonight, man?
Oh, you're too kind.
All right, man. Definitely a good show tonight. We got some nice confirmations for stuff going on in the week. What'd you think of the show?
I liked it a lot. AEW Rampage always continues to just be it's not the best hour of wrestling in the week, but it's definitely I don't want to say, like, it's the most fun. It flies by. They tried something new this week, and I don't know if you realized it, but there was a lot of quick cuts to things. And again, I'm a big fan of maximizing your TV time, try to get the most out of what you're doing. You know, you look at the Fed, for example, and they'll take 3 hours and have nothing to show for it. Whereas this, you had an hour and it was just packed. We had, hold on, let me look one of my notes. We had seven segments in a 1 hour show.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
Wild. But yeah, no, it was a really fun hour. Great content, great matches, great promos, and good show.
All right, so let's get started here with the recap. Here you go. Go ahead. You go first.
Gotcha. All right, so we opened up with Andrade versus Sammy Guevara for the TNT title. I thought this was a really good, hard-hitting match. These guys have great chemistry. Really great match to open up this show with. It went around the amount of time I expected it to. Thought it was fun. I didn't think Andrade was going to win this match because they're still trying to set up for the pay-per-view, but I had a lot of fun with it. I noticed that Matt Hardy was, number one, his attire was kind of his old school Matt Hardy, like red pants attire. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, he's definitely morphing.
Yeah, slowly. And there was also some miscommunication there, which is why Andrade lost, which I liked. I did like that it wasn't really a straight up clean victory for Sammy, because Andrade is really good, and it made sense to protect him there.
Yep. And normally, like you were saying, Matt's attire, he's normally in a suit, so I noticed it right away that he was just in like a t-shirt and his red pants, right?
Yeah, he looked like Never Say Die Matt, I think is the persona.
Yeah. It was
Or
like the
Matt Hardy
solo.
doesn't
It was
die.
solo Matt without Jeff, but still kind of the extreme guy, right?
Yeah, I always remember those red pants because they were when I was younger back in the day, I would create wrestlers on the SmackDown versus Raw video games, and one of my favorite pairs of tights to use were these Matt Hardy red pants, and it was those pants. So it kind of
Oh,
was like
nice.
a little bit of a throwback for me, because it's like I'm a very uncreative person when it comes to create a wrestler. So it's like I would make, like, out of the 10 people I made, maybe like 7 of them had the same pants. Never claimed to be super creative about that, but
Right.
So I enjoyed that. It was a little personal, fun thing for me.
Cool. So this match started out 100 miles an hour right away. Like if you were 30 seconds late, they were already beating the shit out of each other. Sammy's flying tornado, that I think Excalibur calls it a tornado, maybe, but that thing is beautiful. He flies over the ropes and does that spinning half turn. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I really hope we continue to see Sammy have good title defenses against top quality talent. It just makes the title more relevant, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, and I actually wrote down here, Andrade is really hitting his stride in AEW. I remember his first couple matches were slightly lackluster. Like, I don't want to take anything away from them, but they could have been better. You know what I mean? I feel like this match and his last couple matches have just gotten better and better and better. Andrade is doing really well.
It's because he's been getting used to the style. I mean,
yeah.
At the end of the day, the style that the Fed has is much different than what the rest of the wrestling world operates off of. So, getting out of that system, I agree. I thought his first few matches were left a lot to be desired. but since then the guy's kind of got back to where he was beforehand and where he should be as a performer. Thought it was a great match. But yeah, so Sammy wins the match after hitting Andrade on an exposed turnbuckle that Matt Hardy had exposed.
Yes, Hardy pulled
After
off the
the
turnbuckle cover.
Yep. After the match, Matt Hardy attacked. Darby and Sting come out make the save, and it seems like we are set for this trios tornado tag match at Revolution.
Yeah, absolutely. That's gonna be nice. Um, um People keep thinking that Jeff Hardy's gonna show up for Revolution, and I don't see it. Revolution is on March 6th, and he doesn't get out of his contract till I believe the 10th, right? March 10th.
It's like one of those days,
It's
but
like the
it's
10th or the 13th. I forget. It's one of those days right in there, but it's definitely after the 6th. I can tell you that much. And
yeah, I
there would
don't
be
think
no
we're gonna
reason for
see.
them to finally pay to get him out of his contract. You know what I mean? With 2 days left, 3 days left.
Yeah, I don't see us seeing Jeff Hardy at Revolution. We're gonna see him probably the next week on Dynamite. Um, I see this pay-per-view being the way where I think Andrade, they officially get rid of Matt Hardy. It'll probably be a heel turn where the entire AFO, at that point it's going to be called the AFO, I bet. They're all just going to turn on Matt and probably destroy him, like just beat the crap out of him. And then, you know, deleted Matt Hardy, broken Matt Hardy will show up next week saying that Brother Nero's coming, I would assume. Um, But that's just how I would book it. That's how I see it coming. Jeff Hardy kind of let it slip that he is going to AEW. I mean, it's like it's like one of those worst kept secrets. Like CM Punk coming to AEW. Like once the cat was out of the bag, like everybody knew. This is like a really similar thing where like nobody's hiding that Jeff Hardy's coming to AEW, but you can't legally say that he's coming to AEW yet. So Jeff did an
Yeah,
interview the other day. I don't know if you saw this, but he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to AEW. I'm super nervous about it." Now he's like, "Well, it's a goal. I'm not definite. I can't be definite yet." But it's
yeah.
like,
It
okay,
was on like a real small YouTuber's channel, kind of like kind of like ours. Um,
yeah,
and that kid got lucky, man. That was nice.
yeah. I know Jeff Hardy. Call us. We'll talk.
Yeah,
Break
yeah.
some
Let's do
tables.
this. All right. So Darby came out to give a hand to Sammy there. And once again, Darby does his suicide dive through the ropes, and I cannot think of anybody that does one better. I mean, it's just his body type allows him to just throw himself into somebody, and it doesn't hurt them, and it doesn't hurt him, and it just looks incredible. I absolutely love Darby's tope suicida.
Yeah, man. The dude's wild. He's crazy. He wants to die. So
Yeah.
he fits in pretty well.
All right, so the next segment was QT Marshall coming out and talking some shit on Hook, and I couldn't believe Taz didn't just stand up and beat his ass, but it worked out with he calls out Hook, Hook comes out, and he sends all his little cronies from, the what are they called right now? The factory.
Yeah, just the factory.
So all these kids from the factory go out there. Now, I trained jujitsu and judo for like a year and a half. Didn't like it because I didn't like getting thrown like what I'm talking about right now. But jujitsu I did for a while. And I can tell you right now, that first judo throw that kid took was a real judo throw. And I guarantee you that hurt really bad. That was literally one of the reasons that I stopped taking judo class was that particular throw right there. I even forget what it's called, but he executed it absolutely perfect. And that kid landed right on it was right where the flat part of the stage started to curve down. And it had to be the worst part of the ramp for him to have landed on. It almost bent him in half.
Yeah, it definitely looked like it hurt. I thought this was great. I also thought this was a really nice. Again, something I really liked about this show was it was much more balanced in terms of like promos and matches. I think that there are definitely room to have promos and segments like this on Rampage. I would like to see more of it. I was a big fan of it. I think that I would rather there be a Rampage where we do like 2 matches and maybe like 2 promos, as opposed to like 3 matches and then like an enhancement match. So I thought this was a really cool little thing for them to do instead of having like a squash match on Rampage. Um, it progresses the feud between Hook and QT Marshall. I don't see this making Revolution. I think Revolution is so stacked as it is. Like maybe this will be on like the Rampage before next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, loved it. I loved everything about this. I thought Taz was great. Love Taz as always. Biased Philly fan. Um, I think it was great. I think Hook continues to just look like $1,000,000. Like he's gonna be something really special. He already is something really special. I did write down that like, man, this has been a really rough month for these extras. Like 10 beat the crap out of them, and then who beat the crap out of them on Dynamite? Somebody was beating up security guys on Dynamite.
Oh man, who was it?
I
I'm
don't
drawing
remember.
a blank
Like this is
too.
like the third time it's happened in like the last 3 weeks. But
I even
like these
mentioned it
guys are
too. I
just,
was like, man, last week 10, now this week this guy. Damn, who was it?
yeah, like people are really paying their dues right now. Like good for them, but like,
To
jeez.
go back and look at my notes.
You go ahead and do that. I'm gonna just touch on the next segment
Yeah.
if we're good to move on. As the next segment, we had a quick little promo with Dan Lambert and Men of the Year. Dan Lambert said he had a meeting with Tony Khan and he was able to get Scorpio Sky a TNT title match. He will get that match before the Face of the Revolution ladder match winner gets his TNT title shot. Um, thought this was a really fun segment. I think Dan Lambert continues to really shine. I mean, people hate the guy, but that's the whole point. So, I mean, if you hate him, he's doing his job, and I think he does a great job at it. He knows that the wrestling fans love Tony Khan, so he makes sure to shit on Tony Khan, because the funny thing is that not all the heels in AEW uh, are negative towards TK, which they shouldn't be. He's their boss. But Dan Lambert, who hates everything that professional wrestling is today, would hate Tony Khan. Like that's just, it makes a lot of sense for that, and I really like that.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like I would like to see Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page kind of do something a little bit more or something a little bit different. I feel like they've been kind of just. I feel like they've been kind of just doing the same thing for like the last like 4 months. Um, I would like to see something a little bit different. I mean, like it's great they're getting TV time; they definitely deserve it. But I would say like let's try to get something a little bit different going, because I feel like the two of them have just been chasing the TNT title, but not really competing for the TNT title for like 4 months between
Yeah.
Cody and Sammy. Like it's just like, okay, well both Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. Oh no, Scorpio didn't get a shot, but Ethan Page was the one chasing it when Cody was champion, and now I guess Scorpio is going to go after it, and we'll see
Yeah.
what happens. Um,
Scorpio looks like he's going to be next in line after whoever goes next. Scorpio's going to have some sort of match that'll get him into line.
right, but I mean that'll be a great match. Scorpio Sky is great. Sammy's great.
Yeah.
It's a great roster. So yeah, I think it's gonna be really good.
That match right there, I'm a huge fan of the Spanish Fly, and both of those dudes use that move. I can't wait to see what they pull off.
Right.
All right, so next we had Wardlow versus Comoroto. We had some big meaty men slapping meat. I don't know if you've seen that going around, but one happens to be uncomfortably hairy.
Yep. Philly's own Nick Comoroto.
Yep, I love that guy. He looks like I like how his jacket looks like a straight jacket, because he looks like he just broke out of a mental hospital. It's great.
One of my favorite Nick Comoroto moments is there was a sign, a fan sign, and it said Final Fantasy VII Remake is better than Final Fantasy VII. And Comoroto grabbed the sign and tore it up, and he was like, "That's incorrect." Which
Oh,
I
that's
don't
excellent.
I don't know where I fall on that. I love both games a lot. Do you, real quick, side point? What do you think? Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy VII Remake? Which one would you take?
Okay, I will be completely honest. So
Oh
Final
no.
Fantasy VII is my favorite video game of all time.
Okay.
Um, so I did not play the remake because I was
Oh,
kind of like one of those that was like, I don't want to ruin my original experience if possible. But I've seen other people play it, and I can understand why people would like the new version as well. So I have nothing against it, but I have not played
okay. So you need to do it. So I was originally waiting to play. I was waiting for the Xbox version to come out because I play on everything, but I'm primarily an Xbox guy. And I was waiting for it to come on Xbox, but then Intergrade came out on PS5, and I was like, okay, I cracked and I bought it for PS5. I'm just letting you know you need to play it. Yes, it changes the story. The story is not 100% the same, but I loved it, and you have to play it.
I'll check it out.
If it's your favorite game of all time, like just enjoy it for what it is because there are things in that game that like if you played the original, it's for you. And, like you just
Okay.
got to do it. Like yeah, it's not exactly the same game. I think that like me personally, like both games still have a place in my heart, but like play it, play it now. You get done the podcast, go do it.
So
Stream it if you have to. But anyway, back to wrestling.
yeah, let's go back to wrestling here. So there was one point in this match where Jericho was talking about the the symphony of power bombs, and he called it the Symphony of Destruction. And I don't know if you know this, but that's the name of a song from Megadeth, and it's one of my favorite Megadeth songs of all time. So that
Mm.
reference hit home. Thank you, Jericho.
Yeah, Jericho's a big music guy, so
Yeah. Um, of course, he hits him with, four power bombs after a good match. I thought they did a very decent match. No squash on Comoroto at all.
yeah,
Good.
I thought it made sense. I thought it was a good spot. It made Comoroto still. It was like you said, it wasn't a squash match, which I don't think it needed to be. I think Wardlow's still working against these heels. He's doing these babyface versus heel matches. We're still getting there. Um, but I thought it was good. I really liked the post match. Um, so Wardlow wins, beats Comoroto. As he's picking up Comoroto for solo attack, Terran solo attacks. As he's picking up Solo for the power bombs, Spears comes in with a chair and hits Solo, but also hits Wardlow's hand.
Yes.
Wardlow is mad. He said, "What the fuck are you doing?" Um, and then Sean Spears says, "Look, big man, we got to talk about this power bomb thing. It's not getting over."
The crowd
I
booed
love it.
the shit out of him when he said that.
And it was like, "Look, man, it's just not working out. It's not over. Max and I, we love you. I mean, like this just not working, big man."
Yeah, that was good. The promo was good. The hug at the end was good. I can't wait to see those two. I can't wait to see Spears take a powerbomb symphony.
Well, that's the thing. I think these guys are gonna like everyone's talking about the Wardlow Max, well, Jacob Friedman Max feud. I
Yeah.
think we're gonna get a few good matches between these guys first.
Oh yeah.
I
Absolutely.
think that Sean Spears is going to be like the middle guy or the first step to that big match. Um, but yeah, I mean, I love this chemistry that the two of them have, and it's gonna be great to see it moving forward. Sean Spears also says no more power bombs, so we'll see how that goes.
All right. So next we had the Serena Deeb 5 minute challenge. My favorite segment in wrestling at the moment. Um, I think they had to squeeze everything they could in here because they did put a lot of segments in. So no entrances for either wrestler. Deeb started out in the ring with a girl named Kayla Sparks. And I can't confirm this, but it appears that this girl, Kayla Sparks, was on SmackDown and Rampage tonight.
You know,
She
that's
was the
that's
girl
happened a
in the
few
Kiss
times.
Cam with Los Lotharios, which is the two Latino wrestlers. They do this Kiss Cam stupid ass thing now.
That sounds stupid.
Now I can't confirm that it's her, but I am seeing posts on Twitter saying this girl was on SmackDown and Rampage, and they're like, Forbidden Door. But
Believe it or not, this is not the first time it's happened. I recall there was another women's wrestler like a year and a half ago where she was on Raw and Rampage and Dynamite
oh wow,
um, in the same week.
that's cool.
But it was like a very clear like what show respects what, because in the Raw segment, I think she was like a girl fondling MVP, and whereas on Dynamite she actually wrestled in a match.
Okay.
So I mean, take that what you will.
Yeah.
Um, but
Another
I mean, yeah, I thought this was a great rookie challenge
yeah.
segment. I think it was probably the best one. I think Serena Deeb just looked very dominant and brutal in it. Really dug that nasty submission on the ropes that she had in for the 4 seconds that she
Yeah.
was able to have it.
That was awesome. And
But yeah, I thought this was great.
like I've been saying, I can't help but see the Bryan Danielson in her. You know what I mean? It just every time she's wrestling now, I just for some reason that's what I see. It's I'm loving it.
Yeah, I mean, again, and her character is more of an ode to Dean Malenko, but I
Yeah.
mean, it's definitely a similar. It's in the same vein as Bryan Danielson.
Yeah. All right, so that was another
Um,
2 minute, 30-second destruction, and then we got to the Rosa versus Britt signing.
Yep, we had the contract signing. Thunder Rosa kind of came out of this one heated, like right out of the gate. I thought all around this was a great promo. Um, I really feel like at Revolution, it's time for Thunder Rosa to win the title. She's extremely over.
Yeah.
Um, but I will say this as somebody who has been very underwhelmed by Britt Baker since winning the women's championship. I thought this is the best thing she's done in like months. I thought this was a very good promo from her. Not her best promo. Um, not the best I've ever seen of her, but it was definitely very good. I think her and Thunder Rosa have some really good chemistry. Um, I think this match will deliver at the pay per view. I think on a card of like really really fantastic matches, I don't know how well this one's going to be comparatively, but I think it's still going to be a very good match.
I 100% agree. I thought this was one of Britt's best promos in a long time. You know, maybe even since Pittsburgh or Britsburg.
Mhm.
That to me, that was definitely her best moment was Britsburg. You know, on the mic anyway.
Yeah, promo
And
wise, I agree with that.
I love Thunder Rosa's angry Spanish when she just starts yelling and screaming in Spanish. That's one of my favorite things. It's great. Um, I thought Britt made some very good points that, you know, after that big match that they had, Rosa may have won the match, but Britt got the t-shirts, Britt got the action figures, you know, who really won that match?
Yeah, no, again, I thought it was a great promo from Britt. I think that again, we talked about it, you know, to a point of exhaustion on the last episode of the podcast. But I think promos are at their best when you let the wrestlers make it relatable and make it feel real. And I think that there's definitely an argument to that. I mean, after that lights out match, like who really won that match? Like Thunder Rosa won the match, but everybody, myself included, was the one. It was Britt Baker I talked about after that match.
Yeah.
Um, but so I thought this was a really good promo. Thought it was great. After the contract is signed, a fight does break out. Mercedes Martinez does come out, make the save. Um, she very eloquently gives us a shout out to the podcast.
Yes. I
Really
put
appreciated that.
Jamie Hayter through the table. Thank you, Mercedes, for the shout out to the Broken Tables podcast. I wrote that down.
Yep, always appreciate that. But there, yeah, it was great. I hope we get to see Jamie Hayter and Mercedes Martinez. Maybe at the buy-in, or they could extend it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping that if Britt loses, I would like to see eventually Jamie Hayter kind of break off of that. Um, I don't know, maybe in a feud that would be cool, but just let Jamie go do her own thing. You know, she doesn't just need to be muscle. I think she's more talented than that.
Yeah, man. I love Jamie Hayter. You know, I talk about that every time we see her. I think she's one of the best women's wrestlers in that locker room. Um,
Yeah, I agree.
when she gets in there with the right person, you know, that can help her out in the match, because she's not one of the top talents that can carry a match herself, but when she gets in there with someone else that's on her level, they make really, really good matches.
Yep.
All right, and then last but not least was Orange Cassidy versus Anthony Bowens. So I am almost, well, here, let's start with the the thing with World's Strongest Man there, Mark Henry. So I love how Orange Cassidy was like, "Wait, do I have to climb something?" Because they were talking about the ladder match.
Hmm.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, I always think back to the ladder match that he was in at. I think it was Double or Nothing, I believe. Uh, it's just like him reaching for the ladder, and I'm so like, or reaching for the prize above the ring without even being on the ladder. And it's like I'm so down for that. You know, Orange Cassidy is one of my favorite gimmicks in wrestling. In fact, I think in terms of like gimmicks, it's my favorite gimmick.
Yeah,
Um, I thought the pre-match was great. I love the Acclaimed. I love Orange Cassidy. I think everyone here was like these pre-match things. I think Mark Henry definitely plays a part in why they're so good. But like, man, what a home run by Tony Khan for this idea of having like this promo. And I know that's a thing that was done in older wrestling shows. I think something before my time used to do it. Was it Saturday Night's Main Event that used to do this?
yeah.
Okay, Saturday Night's Main Event.
And I
Saturday Night's
believe
Main
the
Event.
NWA used to and still does do it, if I am not mistaken. But we'll be finding out.
Yeah, but I really love these very like right before the match, get some last words in, really kind of helps lead into the match. Um, it was funny because as much as I love the Acclaimed, I thought that this was one of Max Caster's lesser raps. This is probably the worst rap he ever had, like in my opinion.
I actually
Um,
wrote down worst rap from Max yet.
yeah, it was, but luckily it was salvaged, and maybe that's why the rap wasn't that good. Was because he actually challenges Orange Cassidy to a rap battle,
Yeah.
throws the mic at him. Orange Cassidy very like reluctantly bends down, picks up the microphone, says "yo," and then does his kicks gimmick, which I love. Um, you know, Caster attacks, he dodges him out of the way, throws Bowens out of the ring, and then says, "Word to your mother."
Yeah,
And
I popped on the word to your mother thing because I was alive in the Vanilla Ice days, so you know.
so funny. I was dying. It was just it was great. I thought all around this match was really good. Um, it was a really fun match. In the time that they had, they made a lot. They had a lot happen. Um, yeah, I mean, this match was pretty great for me because a lot of guys that I really like that don't always get featured on TV, unfortunately, love the Acclaimed, love Orange Cassidy. So yeah, this was a really fun match for me.
Yeah, the finish was a little odd to me, but you know, it was a great match. Um I'm not sure that I wanted Cassidy in that Face of the Revolution ladder match. And the only reason I say that is because, you know, the E drones like to use Cassidy as an excuse to make fun of AEW sometimes. So now they'll be able to be like, "Oh, look at that match. Now it's a joke," you know, but we know that it's not.
Oh
But I
well,
just, you know, I hate these E drones, man, the way that they
so let me just start with fuck the Fed, okay? Like, I don't give a shit what these E drones think. These E drones will sit here and try to tell me that Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, unification world titles, best WrestleMania match of all time, because that's what they're
this
billing it
biggest
as.
match ever.
That's what they're billing it as. Like,
Stupendous.
not The Rock and Stone Cold, not Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, not Daniel Bryan versus Triple H. No,
No.
we're going to say that this. Nothing that the Undertaker did. Nothing that like, oh God, so angry. But like, ugh, it's so awful. So no, I don't care what the E-Drones say because you know what? Fuck them.
Fuck them.
Okay, fuck them. I love Orange Cassidy, and I'm very happy to see Orange Cassidy make the pay-per-view. I am all about it. I think he will do some funny things, but at the same time, he's gonna try at some point. And the thing is, when Orange Cassidy tries, he's phenomenal. Even when he's not trying, he's phenomenal. This guy
Yeah.
is multi-leveled, multifaceted. You know, with how awesome he is, because he has so many different things that he does really well. Um, and that should not be overlooked. I think in today's AEW crowded roster, he is a very underrated person on this roster.
Yeah. Hey,
And
we
that's
got
just
a
my opinion.
lot of Twitter chatter right now for Nick Wayne, that 16-year-old kid that AEW signed. Apparently,
Yeah,
he's
man.
competing
AEW
in
is
GCW right now, and he just put on a freaking amazing match.
wow, good for him.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
I
wait to
mean,
see that kid in AEW, man.
yeah, man. TK knows what he's doing. He's setting up for the future too. One
Yeah.
day we're gonna have like a Nick Wayne -1. This is
Man, do you
like
see how
it's
tall
gonna be wild.
-1 got?
What?
Do you see how tall -1 got? He grew like 6 inches.
I mean, he's at that age. It makes sense. He's like what,
Yeah.
like 12 right now?
There was a really cool incident with him on Dark the other day where 10 was wrestling this monster. I don't know who this guy is, but he's like 6'8". And and -1 jumped in front of 10 and pushed him out of the way and got in the guy's, well, tried to get in the guy's face, you know what I mean? Like chest to chest, but it was like chest to kneecap. And it was great. And then 10 put -1 on his shoulder, so he was up on that guy's level. It was awesome.
But yeah, I saw it. That was a really good spot.
All right, so that was it for Rampage. What do we got confirmed so far for Dynamite next week?
So, in terms of matches and segments, we don't really have anything new announced, but we're going to run through it anyway.
Yes,
So, the
yes.
first thing on tap is the trios match: Hangman Adam Page, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds versus Adam Cole and Red Dragon. This is sure to be a very great match. Mind you, this is the go home show for Revolution. It'll probably be a very promo heavy show. We're still going to also get one more Face of the Revolution qualifier. We do not have it announced yet. Um, the other match that we have announced is the Casino Tag Battle Royal. I think that this is going to be a great match. I still think we're going to get a debut here. I don't know who, but I think it'll be a good time. And then the last thing that we have announced is this giant announcement that Tony Khan has been talking about for a few days now. He has confirmed that he will be revealing it on Wednesday. Um, this is going to be something huge. I feel like it's based off Tony Khan's wording. It's definitely has huge ramifications. I have to think that it has to do with something outside of not just within AEW. I think it has to be very, kind of what we were talking about last week. I think it's something that's going to have multiple promotions involved. I have to think it has to be something on a major scale,
Yeah.
which I think is great for the industry.
Yeah, man. I'm hoping, it seems like the going around rumor, like they've given us enough hints, I believe, especially when they talked about the non disclosure agreement, the NDA. That right there almost assured to me that they had purchased Ring of Honor. Um, just because when you're doing a purchase of something significant like that from company to company, there's always a non-disclosure agreement signed before. Neither party can reveal anything about it until it's finalized, because of the way that finances work and stuff like that. So I was almost sure that's what's going on. I'm still pretty certain that that's what's going on. And I'm hoping that it leads to a bigger story of Ring of Honor invading all kinds of Impact, AW, all of them, and Cody Rhodes being some sort of mastermind running it. Like remember when Vince was the what did they call that? The dark ministry or whatever, or the
Yeah,
corporate ministry, I think it was called, and
it was
he
the
was,
corporate ministry.
yeah, the
Yeah,
corporate ministry, and he was the mastermind behind it. I have a feeling
yeah. I
that's
mean,
going to
I'd love.
be Cody.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. Uh, I wouldn't be surprised if ROH was purchased. I mean, I think it's definitely believable. They were having money issues. I think they're kind of transitioning in the wrestling industry. I've also known for a long time that Tony Khan really wants that library. I know that that company is important to him because at the end of the day, ROH is kind of integral to the birth of AEW. You know,
Oh
I
yeah,
know Tony Khan really wants that all in footage. I mean, it's all in is the birth of AEW. It's the genesis of AEW before AEW happens.
yeah.
Um,
Wait,
so I
so
mean,
so
I've kind
Ring
of
of
been
Honor owns
thinking
that.
about that too.
Ring of Honor
Yeah,
owns the All In footage.
yeah. So ROH. So basically, when Cody Rhodes took the bet that Dave Meltzer put out, because Dave Meltzer said, famously that an indie promotion or an indie show could not sell out a major stadium or arena. And Cody was like, I'll take that bet. Cody put together, not just Cody, but, Cody was the one that kind of spearheaded it in my mind,
Yeah.
this giant indie show. And Ring of Honor actually helped out a lot for that show. They actually provided a lot of help and support and including the cameras. I believe, if I recall, the camera crew and stuff like that was supplied by ROH,
I was
which is
gonna
why
say.
technically Ring of Honor owns all rights to that footage, all the show. That's why you don't ever see AW one talk about it or two show it regularly because
Huh.
again, All In is very vital to some of the AW storylines, and they never talk about it.
Yeah, I never even thought about that. Wow.
So I've for years have kind of been waiting for Tony Khan to kind of bite that bullet. You know what I mean? Like it makes a lot of sense. But up until this point, ROH wasn't really, at least not that we know of, wasn't really going through financial issues. So it makes a lot of sense here to see them acquire it. I mean, since they released all their talent, it's just kind of like, well, I know I also heard a rumor that the Fed was interested in doing it because they also have a lot of guys over there. Not so much anymore, but they used to have a lot of guys who, you know, were started in ROH, and that tape library for them would only make their network more valuable. Um, so yeah, I like where your head's at, and it's definitely something that's been on my mind too, and it's could be definitely somewhere that we go with it. I also still continue to hold out that Cody Rhodes leaving is a work. Um, I will eat crow if needed, but for now,
Well,
it's a work, brother.
so
Uh,
I think the way that they've arranged this is we will never be able to actually call it a work. I think it's going to be like, no, Cody did leave. He is gone. And, now he's in Ring of Honor. So I do think they're going to have a way to storyline this to not be a work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I think that no matter what happens, we're going to have a lot to talk about on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I also think that it is going to be a great episode for our good friend Forrest to be rejoining us. He will be back
Yes.
next Wednesday.
Can't wait.
Um, yeah, I think, again, this is the go home show for the pay per view. I think it's going to be a phenomenal show. I think it's going to be a really big show to set up for. Which I don't even know. Do they even need a go home show for this? I mean, like, is anybody out there really not sold on this pay per view at this point? Like, is there anybody out there who like legitimately would order the pay per view that isn't already like, yep, I'm ordering this? Because
Yeah.
like, if you're on the fence still, what exactly? Why are you on the fence? Like, I know I know the e drones aren't going to get it, and like, if you're not into AEW, it is what it is. You're not getting it. But if you're someone who's into AEW and you're like not sure, like what more do you need?
Yeah.
Like, what are you looking for exactly?
By the way, they are doing Revolution in the movie theaters. Remember I was telling you that last time I went to a movie theater for the pay-per-view?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And that was really fun. So that's gonna be cool. I definitely recommend anybody that's not tried that, definitely give it a shot. Feels like you're in your own section. like you're live and you got your own section. Everybody's chanting and cheering. It's great.
Cool. All right, so that's what we have on tap for next week. We have two news headlines that we're going to kind of discuss a little bit here. So the first one is there was an announcement made a few hours ago that on Monday's episode of BTE, we are going to get their quote, huge AEW live event announcement on BTE.
Okay, so live event, like they're going to be announcing an upcoming live event that we don't know about yet?
Possibly. I mean, so I'll give my thoughts and then you can kind of let me know what you think, but maybe this is finally them announcing a West Coast tour.
Yeah.
I mean, that or like I know that they've said they want to go overseas too. So, and I know Tony Khan, he owns a soccer team, right?
I do believe so.
And yeah, is it in England? I don't know
Yeah, I
exactly.
think it's an English soccer team. I don't know the name of it right off the top of my head because I actually do follow some European soccer.
It's Fulham, right? Or Fulham?
Fulham, yeah. Okay, if it's Fulham, yeah, that should be a Fulham FC, I believe, football club.
I believe so, but if that's the case, they have a venue that they could use if they wanted to go
absolutely. Wow, that's a monster venue though. That's like an NFL stadium.
I mean, we've been talking about it. I mean,
it'll sell. It'll absolutely sell their first show in Europe.
Yeah. But I think more realistically, it's going to be a West Coast tour. I know that they've wanted to go West Coast. They want to expand. Yeah. So,
they just announced Las Vegas for Dynamite, Rampage, and what's the pay-per-view?
Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing.
Yeah, but
that is West Coast, so they only got to go it's only 6 hours to California.
Yeah, I think, but they've already done Vegas, so like that's just kind of like the Double or Nothing setting. Yeah. But I mean, I think California would be the big one. Yeah, I think LA.
Yeah, you go to LA.
Yeah, I think you do LA.
And you bring the Lucha Brothers. You wait till Phoenix is healthy and tear down the house because I'm not sure if you know, but there's I believe it's called the Lucha Republic, if I'm not mistaken. And the Lucha Brothers have it's like a store and you can buy all of their gear and stuff. Like, remember back when I was about to buy that Penta gear, but it didn't come with half the outfit? They have an entire store dedicated to Lucha masks and all that stuff. So they have a huge following out there.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I think it is. I think it's a West Coast tour. Are you kind of in agreement with that, or?
I didn't even think that, actually. I was thinking some sort of a new pay-per-view to add to the lineup somewhere, you know what I mean? But, yeah, I think a West Coast tour would be cool.
Yeah, it is very interesting that it's something that's being done on BTE. It's a very interesting place for it.
So that would make me believe that it's significant to them, you know what I mean? So
California,
absolutely. Where are they? They're from.
Maybe they'll do a live show in Rancho Cucamonga.
There it is.
There you go. All right, and so
I think we just detectived it. I think we figured that out, actually.
Yeah, I think that's what it is too. California just makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah. It's important to them. Tony Khan wants to expand. He wants to go out west. I could see it.
And I see if they do good, they go up to Seattle. Yeah, I definitely see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
Bryan Danielson, Seattle.
Soon too. Yeah. Cool. And then so the last thing on the list today is very quietly, Cesaro, his contract expired, and he is no longer with the Fed. Congratulations to him.
Yeah. Congratulations, Cesaro. We are very happy you've been, I wouldn't say granted your freedom, but you have earned your freedom.
Yep, he is free. Do we think he ends up in AEW?
I want him to end up in AEW. Let me get this out of the way real quick. We're no longer going to call him Cesaro. I believe his real name is Claudio.
Okay.
So, I try not to call them their WWE e names afterwards as much
There's,
as possible. I know you're big on that
yeah,
as well.
that's their slave name.
Yeah, so I do believe he goes by Claudio, but not
Well,
positive.
I think his real name is Claudio.
Yeah, I actually
So
like that better than Cesaro.
I didn't think Cesaro was a bad name. In all fairness, I
No, it
thought
was good.
Antonio Cesaro was a better name.
Yes.
Remember that? Remember that was what his name was.
Yep.
And then Vince was like, "We don't need names. We need like statement." I don't remember what the line was, but
Yeah.
he was like Andrade Cielmis or something like that.
CN
He's
Almas.
like,
Yep.
yeah. He's like, he's just Andrade. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
whatever, man. This is stupid.
All right.
Can't
So
have names.
I want him to go to AEW. With this dream stable that I've been piling up in my head with Brian Danielson. I said it right the first time. Damn it. Um, I'd like him to join that, but I do see the better fit being Impact. I see he could walk into Impact and literally destroy everybody and just take that belt and run with it. I do think
See,
it
I
would make
actually,
a lot of
oh,
sense,
sorry, go ahead.
but I want him in AEW.
I do too. I think actually, I don't think Impact is where I would see him going. I actually see him going to the NWA.
Okay.
I think that he would be very much in line with the style of the NWA.
Yeah, Nick Aldis and
Yeah. Like I just think he would fit in there. Um,
he's got his
I think it would.
money.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the one thing that the Fed is good for is, you kind of go in, you make some money, and now like let's have some fun, man. Let's do something
Yeah.
creative. I don't
That
know. I think I Tony Khan can't sign everybody. I would like to see him in AEW, but I understand that I'm sure there's other people that Tony Khan already has interest in signing.
yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, again, if he makes it, great. If not, it is what it is. But yeah, if not AEW, I think the National Wrestling Alliance is the way to go for him.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good point. I do think he does fit in with some of those guys. That style of wrestling that they have going on there right now. Which I'm gonna
Yeah,
be.
the real vintage vibe style kind of.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's a good point. Now I think this was very unexpected for a lot of people because I don't think anybody expected his re-signing last year to have been a 1-year re-signing. Um, if you remember when he was finally getting that little bit of a push with Roman Reigns, when it was basically Bryan Danielson forcing the WWE to push him. Remember? I don't know if you were watching at the time, but Bryan Danielson was involved heavily in that storyline, and he essentially forced them to give Cesaro a title match.
I did remember that. Yes. Well, I mean, also at the same time, as much as Claudio deserved it, um, at the time there wasn't anyone on the roster for Roman to go against because you see, Jeffrey, my friend, you can't base a promotion around one guy.
Yeah.
You need to create multiple stars because even if you have your top guy, that top guy needs to have someone to work with. Takes two to tango. You
Yep.
can't just have Roman Reigns be the guy and like, well, who's Roman gonna face next week? Like, who knows? Because it doesn't matter who he faces because there's no one credible to go up against him unless your name is Brock Lesnar, Bill Goldberg, or like Seth Rollins, which I like Seth, I really do. Um, it's a shame that he's probably a lifer there, but
Yeah.
like come on, man, like create stars, and that was why, unfortunately, like I don't think they ever wanted to give Claudio that spot, but they were like, well, what choice do we have?
Yeah. Like I said, Danielson basically forced them into it. And his last day there was, I think, the day before Claudio's title match. So he essentially forced them into it.
Yeah, so I mean, best of luck to him. I'm sure he's going to do great things. The wrestling business right now is at an all-time high. It's excuse me, it's there's a lot of places to work, there's a lot of places to make money. I mean, Matt Cardona is a shining example that like you don't need to work for AEW or the Fed to be successful.
Dude,
Um
I don't know if you got a chance to catch that Jordan Grace match with him yet, but again, I just have to say, like, I wasn't a big fan of intergender wrestling. That match turned my mind around big time. Like, that match was incredible.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch the whole thing. I saw clips of it. Admittedly, my eyes have kind of been more towards things going on in Europe right now.
Yeah, understood.
I consider myself somewhat worldly. I try to keep an eye on things like that going on.
Yeah.
So to be honest, watching Rampage tonight was a nice little break in that, because it was the first thing that wasn't related to my job or Ukraine that I had consumed in the
Yeah.
last 3 days. So, um, you know, no, it's a wrestling podcast, but also, thoughts and prayers going out to the
Yeah,
people in Ukraine.
all that. Prayers go out,
It's
absolutely.
rough. It's rough right now. Um, fuck evil people, man. But yeah.
So we got Wednesday, we will be live directly after Dynamite. We're gonna have our good friend Forrest on here with us. But tomorrow, we're gonna be doing an interview with a gentleman from the Certified Wrestling Podcast. He goes by Certified Hustler. He puts together some matches here and there on some independent promotions. I was lucky enough to be asked to make some graphics for a match that's coming up in May for Big Mama versus Freya the Slayer. My graphic is getting quite a lot of likes on here. Everybody seems to dig what I made there, so I'm really happy about that. And we're going to interview him tomorrow around 6 p.m. I might do it live. I might record it and post it. We'll see. But we're going to see, what he does around the independent wrestling world, what kind of things he books, and, what promotions he helps book things for. And I'm going to have him tell a story about how he met Billy Corgan in a parking lot, and he wound up booking Trevor Murdoch for a NWA title match. So we'll have him talk about that, and that should be really cool. He's going to get us some interviews with some wrestlers from NWA, and we'll see how that goes. So I can't wait for that tomorrow. Anybody interested in that, tune in. You'll see when the video gets posted or possibly live at 6 p.m. So watch out for that. You got anything else for us tonight right now, Rome?
Get ready for a huge week of AEW next week.
Yeah.
We're going to have Elevation on Monday, Dark on Tuesday, Dynamite on Wednesday. Probably going to have a special episode of Dark on Thursday. They usually do that before the pay-per-view.
We do have a special episode on Thursday.
Rampage on... Oh, is that already announced?
As far as I can tell on Twitter, people are already talking about it, but I don't know about officially announced, but it is being talked about. Okay, well,
I'm assuming that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Friday, Rampage. Saturday, we'll take a day off. And then Sunday, Revolution.
So Saturday actually does have a day, not anything for us particularly, but there's going to be the Fan Fest going on for Revolution. And there is also the AEW music concert. So all the musical artists that create the opening songs for AEW and the songs for the wrestlers is going to be a concert. That should be really awesome. And I believe Mikey Ruckus is headlining that.
Yes, he is. Yeah, I was referring more so to like wrestling show. But yeah, if you're going to Revolution, you are going to be busy every day this week.
Yeah.
So...
All right, man. I do appreciate you joining us tonight so late, as always, after Rampage.
Yep, always love it.
Right on, man. All right, thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Everybody leave some comments down below if you had anything to say here. If you did or did not like anything we said, let us know. And please hit that subscribe button and smash that like button. It always helps us out, getting us out there. And thank you, everybody. Have a great night.